welcome to this AWS event. My name is Eldrid Jordaan, CEO and founder of GovChat.org. Today, I will be talking to you about how we've transformed citizen engagement in Africa using this platform called GovChat. Before I start, let me say it's a massive honor to be able to spend time with you. As a startup, this is really, really great. And again, thank you, AWS, for this opportunity. The presentation I'll be taking you through will cover quite a few content matter, just a bit about the introduction, the insights around GovChat, a bit about the technology, the application, and then quite a few practical use cases on how GovChat was used and is currently used pre-COVID, during COVID, and definitely post-COVID. Now, just about how GovChat started. It started out through a platform in 2015 called Mixit. I was part of Mixit and worked part of it with the team that founded Mixit. And back in 2015 was the largest social media platform on the African continent, with about quite a few million users. I think at that time about 80 million users in about 120 countries, doing 1 billion messages each and every single day. My job at Mixit was really to connect government with young South Africans, and there very quickly found out that young South Africans wanted to engage with the South African government. We also found out that about 80% of young South Africans did not know who their public representatives were. And we also found out that the majority of the issues that these young South Africans wanted to talk about was not national government issues, but issues around local government issues, specifically around access to water, access to electricity, and really wanted to talk about job creation and unemployment. Now, in 2015, after Mixit closed down, WhatsApp really started doing well, not just in Europe and in America, but on the African continent as well. Mixit closed down, and on my way back from the US, I was informed that Mixit was closing down, and I needed to decide what my next move was. And I then decided to take my learnings at Mixit. I am also a former public servant. I am the former special advisor to the Minister of Public Enterprises. So state-owned enterprise is what I know well, and technology is really what I know. And so I decided to use my learnings both within the public sector space and in the technology space around social media platforms or messaging platforms, and then decided to create a very simplistic platform that tries to connect citizens with government. I've decided to take my own personal resources to really try and see if there was appetite with the South African government to be held accountable. It has been a 3-year journey, and like all entrepreneurs, it is a struggle. And unfortunately, I lost everything. All my savings that went into this concept was depleted, and I needed to move back into my mom's home. I needed to take my family with me, and it was really tough. My children got suspended from school, and I decided to really give up on this entrepreneurial journey. And on the day that happened, someone that I don't know from a bar of soap was watching the work that I was doing on LinkedIn and called me up and asked me if I need help. And I told him that I was done and that I definitely am not going to seek any assistance any longer. And he said, well, here's $1 million US. see if you can take that concept and turn it into something tangible. 11 months later, a JSE-listed entity by the name of Capital Appreciation decides to invest $2 million into GovChat. And 12 months after that, one of the largest banks in South Africa came forward and was also seeing the work that I was doing and decided to invest another $1 million. So $5 million after 3 years. And after losing everything, I am able to provide this amazing citizen engagement platform to South African citizens and help the South African government. It started with me in a garage like many entrepreneurs, but today these are the beautiful faces that is behind the technology that has built GovChat. A really, really proud moment because these are young people that shares the vision of a platform that is able to connect South African citizens or citizens with their government at a national, provincial, and local government level. Now, what is GovChat? GovChat is the official citizen engagement platform for the South African government, built very, very differently. So it's not a mobile application that you can download on the iOS or Android store. We built it very differently, and it is technology that integrates into messaging platforms that you already have on your mobile phone, like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. We've done this purely because of two reasons. The one is that the cost of data on the African continent is still really, really high. And the second is that majority of mobile phones in this country are Android phones, and they come with a limited space. And they also come with preloaded applications like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. And so citizens are not going to delete WhatsApp or Facebook to add GovChat to their mobile phones because they have limited space. And so what GovChat did was it integrated using API technology into those applications that you already have on your mobile phone. We've just also recently created a progressive web application that has been zero rated by the largest mobile operator on the African continent, making it free for South African citizens to use the GovChat platform to engage with government. Now, what started out as a platform that connects citizens with government from a communications point of view, we have contractual agreements with the Department of Cooperative Governance that looks after all the municipalities in South Africa. We have contractual agreements with the Department of Health, Social Development, the South African Local Government Association, the Social Services Agency of South Africa, and the Independent Electoral Commission as well. Now, before COVID started, we literally had one feature, and that feature was to try to link a South African citizen up with his public representative. As I stated before, about 80% of South Africans don't know who their public representatives are. And what we've done was on WhatsApp, you can just drop a pin, a location pin of where you are, and we're able to connect you to well over 10,000 public representatives. We've also mapped out well over 60,000 public government spaces, allowing citizens to rate and report the services that they are getting from those institutions, rating their experiences at those facilities as well. We've also enabled citizens to report well over to 257 municipalities, reporting issues of water issues, municipal issues, electricity issues as well. But the two biggest features on the GovChat platform is COVID-19 related. We've partnered with and co-created these features with the Department of Health, where we enable citizens to do COVID-19 screening. But we have also, as the President of South Africa has announced about 3 or 4 months ago, that citizens going for their test results or going for a COVID-19 test is able to get their COVID-19 test results through the GovChat platform, whether you've gone and used the public health system or whether you are using private healthcare. You can receive your COVID-19 test results through the GovChat platform. The biggest feature, though, on GovChat is through Social Security, and I will be touching a bit about that within a use case really soon. And then the final feature is a feature that we have created to digitize the presidential employment stimulus package, which enables early childhood development practitioners to get some relief from the South African government, and we've done that on the GovChat PWA app. Now, on the 11th of May 2020, when the Minister of Social Development announced that GovChat would be the platform to be used to apply for a social grant, we used AWS's infrastructure to be able to do that. I will be very honest and say that we did not think that we were going to get hundreds and thousands, millions of responses from South African citizens to apply for this grant. And I will be very honest and say that because we did not inform AWS about this massive amount of messages and input that was going to come to the GovChat platform, and we needed to call AWS to increase the capacity of AWS Lex. Within less than 24 hours, the AWS head office was able to increase that capacity. And during the months of May, June, and July, GovChat, a small platform startup in South Africa, in Cape Town, was the largest user of AWS Lex in the world. And this is just an image just to show that we use the AWS infrastructure end to end from a data security point of view. This is the architecture structure using WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. And this slide is using the exact same architecture and technology for our progressive web application. We can also say that all the data is stored in the AWS data center in Cape Town, which has just come up a few months ago, and it is able to handle millions and millions of data records. I think on the 11th of May, we saw about 2 million applications try to come through that platform on day one. And we were seeing about 12,000 messages every single minute to try and come through that platform. A phenomenal effort by AWS to be able to have GovChat and the South African government handle that scale. And still to today, a year later, it is doing that in a seamless manner. So again, I have to thank AWS for allowing us to build on top of their amazing infrastructure. Just from a GovChat user point of view, GovChat has 5.5 million active users, 28% of those users coming from the Gauteng province, 20.1% from KZN, and the Western and Eastern Cape making up 11.9 and 10.2%. This is a very exciting slide because just in the last 12 months, we have processed well over 300 million messages on the GovChat platform using AWS, making GovChat the largest citizen engagement platform in South Africa, and I believe on the African continent as well. Now, our first use case that we'd like to share is around the social relief of distress grant. Now, in normal circumstances in South Africa, social relief of distress grants or social relief grants, a South African citizen would need to go and apply for those grants at a social security office. But because of COVID-19 and because of lockdown, that was not possible. And what GovChat did was it digitized that entire process, enabling well over 4.5 million South Africans to go and apply for that grant using a seamless platform called GovChat. We are very proud of this achievement because close to 5 million South Africans did not need to go and stand in a queue to go and apply for that grant, and we were able to do that through this. This is something that we have been advocating for many years, and because of COVID, we were able to digitize and start digitizing government processes using a use case like the Social Relief of Distress grant. Where do these users come from? About 26% coming from the city of Joburg, 18% coming from Ekurhuleni. Now, this is rather shocking because it shows that it is the economic hub of South Africa that is in distress, where South African citizens are needing assistance from the South African government. Where do these users come from, and how old are they? About these users, 61% of these users are aged between 18 and 35. 54% is male and 45% female. And 31% of these users are returning back to the GovChat platform to find out how far the application is around being processed. But I guess the most alarming slide around this use case is this slide, because 4.5 million South Africans have applied for this grant, but many of them have applied with an iPhone 10. Now, this is shocking because in South Africa, an iPhone 10 costs between 10 and 15,000 Rand. But they're applying for a 350 Rand assistance grant for 6 months from the South African government. Now, there are three things that this type of data shows. One, it could be a group of stolen phones, which is what I doubt, because Apple and iPhone is really so secure. The second thing is it could be an indication of a previously middle-class group of people doing fairly well and employed, now, unfortunately, because of COVID, needing assistance of the South African government because they are unemployed. Or it could also be an indication of South African citizens living above their means. I definitely think it's the second option. I definitely think it is telling about the current state of the economy of South Africa, where there are many people currently that is unemployed and needing the assistance of the South African government. We've also, with the help of AWS, created chatbot technology, because as millions of South Africans were trying to apply for this grant, they were also phoning the social services agency, trying to get answers around applications. And the call center of the Social Security agency just couldn't handle the load that was coming up from citizens asking these questions. And GovChat created, together with AWS, a chatbot that was able to take all the frequently asked questions and categorize them. And within the first 30 days, we were able to answer 500,000 questions from South African citizens without South African citizens needing to go through a call center, all thanks to AWS. We were also able to save the social services agency well over 7.5 million Rand in call center seat costs by implementing that chatbot capability. We were able to also show a government what South African citizens were looking for and what questions they wanted answered. Majority of those questions were banking and payment related, and then the second biggest, at 28%, was around what the status of that application was. Now, outside of the Social Relief of Distress grant, GovChat has partnered with the Department of Health around COVID-19. And we are really proud that we were able to process in the first 3 months, well over 365,000 COVID-19 test results using the GovChat platform. We've also created a standardized screening tool. In South Africa, we saw a massive challenge where citizens trying to get into government buildings or getting into just normal buildings like malls, needing to fill out screening using paper, And what we then did was we created a standardized screening tool on the GovChat platform that is able to capture symptoms, but at the same time, at the end of that screening capability is issue out a risk category in enabling the building entry manager to decide on whether they let that citizen in based on that risk profile using the GovChat screening tool. We have also just completed created the vaccination registration portal, which enables citizens to apply and to register for a vaccine. And what we've also done is we have created with our team vaccination registration digital cards, enabling once you've gone through the registration process and once you've received that vaccine, that you are able to receive a digital card showcasing that you have been vaccinated. Before, this was a manual process. We used to travel with what we call a yellow vaccination card when we are traveling to various countries, but we have decided to digitize that process in partnership with various African governments on the African continent. What we've also included was a notification capability within GovChat, enabling that when an appointment has been received for that vaccination, that we are able to create a notification, notification using the PWA app and using the AWS infrastructure to seamlessly send messages to those citizens to remind them of that appointment for that vaccine that they need to go and get. As I stated before, GovChat has also mapped out well over 60,000 government public spaces. But for the COVID-19 period, we have partnered with the Department of Health, enabling South African citizens to rate their experiences when they visit healthcare institutions. But they are able to rate two things: the service that they are getting from public servants like nurses and doctors, but we are also able to rate the infrastructure. It's important that when we do this, that we distinguish between public services and public infrastructure. And this information is used because we do this in real time, and the Department of Health is really able to use these insights, these real-time data insights, to really plan better and to give citizens a better experiences when they go and visit those healthcare institutions. The next, which I'm going to just run through, is we've enabled citizens to report municipal issues, about 15,000 municipal issues in the last quarter of 2020. You'll see that majority of these issues are water related. Now, this is a concern because as the South African government are really trying to get citizens to wash their hands regularly to combat COVID-19, this is a problem, because if there's water disruptions and water leaks, how can we combat COVID-19 if we don't have access to water? And so this is something that the South African government, specifically municipalities, is really looking at to try and address that type of issue. What GovChat also does for government entities is really able to try and show them exactly when these municipal issues are reported. And here you can see that massive spikes between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. when citizens are on their way to work, issues being reported around sewage issues, electricity disruptions, and street light issues. As I said before, GovChat has mapped out all government institutions, about 63,000 of them. All the colors in blue is government institutions that we've rated, and everything in orange, about 30,000 of them, is rated around government public services and infrastructure. On the right-hand side, again, you will see a map of South African citizens rating post offices in South Africa, distinguishing again between infrastructure and public services really easily. In the last month, we have received, as I said, 30,000 government public ratings. Majority of those ratings, 10,000 of those ratings going towards social services, 6,700 going towards the post office, and then home affairs and healthcare making up 2,000 and 1,700 ratings are coming from citizens. Now, what is really, really shocking in this slide is, as you can see, that the police stations are receiving 1 out of 5 stars for both the services and the facility ratings. This is really concerning because police stations is supposed to be a place of safety, but this is where citizens are rating it really, really poorly. And hopefully the South African government will look at how the experiences are currently taking place at police stations. The final use case that I'd like to present to you is we have implemented the registration of early childhood development centers, where using the progressive web application, we've received within the first week well over 700,000 page views, 44,000 app registrations on that platform, and 25,000 early childhood development centers has registered on that platform. Now, the South African government thought before this process that there was 108,000 ECD practitioners that the South African government had. There were well over 124,000 ECD practitioners that actually registered on this GovChat platform for relief from the South African government. Again, a phenomenal achievement where the ECD sector was able to register this within 7 days of going live. I'm not going to go through all of the demographics, but what I would like to kind of show is how we've mapped out the capacity issues by using this data that we have received. Everything in green is what you are seeing that is below the capacity that is allowed, and everything in orange or red is really, really worrying, because it shows that there are more than 6 children per ECD practitioner that is at a ECD center. So again, we are able to map these things out. We are also able to see what is required from a funding point of view, and so by mapping this out, we were able to see that there's quite a few institutions around ECD centers that need assistance from the South African government from a funding point of view. So 2 sides of GovChat. One, where there is a citizen platform enabling that engagement with government, but also helping the South African government being able to really, really plan better using this data as data-driven insights, ensuring that our governments are not just responsive governments, but proactive governments using this data that they are seeing not over a 12-month period, but in real time every single day. So this slide really, really shows us the amount of early childhood development centers that are in townships and in urban areas. You'd see that 94% are in non-township areas. Now, this is a bit concerning because it shows that there are so many South African citizens that need to leave early in the morning and go into town to have their kids looked after by a creche or a center like this. From a recommendation point of view, we obviously try and help the South African government to try and move funding of early childhood development centers within townships that would enable parents to keep their children within a localized area and not move them out of that township into town. Now, we understand this because we do location pin drop for every feature on the GovChat platform. And even if it is in a deep rural area, in a township, we are able to do that. And so I think it what is important here is to kind of show the South African government how to navigate, subsidized spending of ECDs more towards township areas than urban areas, because it is a massive challenge. What we've also done, because we take location pin drops really seriously, we were able to link ECD centers to the closest educational primary and secondary and tertiary educational institutions, and we are also able to see where the closest healthcare institution is, and the police institution. So these are very important factors that government needs to look at from a town planning point of view. That it's important that when foundation centers like ECD centers are built, that they are built really close to healthcare institutions, police stations, and also primary institutions. It just helps them plan a lot better. Now, just finally, I would want to say GovChat obviously has a phenomenal success story within the Republic of South Africa, but we have already received requests from 7 other African countries like Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Angola, Gambia, Ghana, just to name a few. And we are really excited for what we've done in South Africa to be able to duplicate that in other territories on the African continent. What started out as a humble initiative in 2016, an idea is now becoming global. And I really need to thank AWS for investing in startups like GovChat, being able to allow us to really connect more governments with citizens across the African continent. We are, again, really honored to partner with an amazing institution like AWS, making sure that we don't just hold governments to account, but that we allow them not just to be responsive governments, but governments that are proactive in the work that they're trying to do. And so a massive thank you for this opportunity. It is a huge honor as a startup in Cape Town, South Africa, to be able to partner with an amazing institution like AWS. Thank you very much.
You might have used MongoDB, but have you used MongoDB Atlas, the fully managed cloud database with autopilot features built in, so you can focus on building instead of managing? Visit mongodb.com/cloud to learn more.